'Twas the night before Double Tap, and all through the shed, Shaun was wiring gadgets while Stephen just said, "Did you test the mixer, the camera, and mic?" "I did," Shaun replied, "but it's still not quite right." The studio was glowing with eerie delight. Screen readers chatted like ghosts in the night. "Can you hear me?" cried Stephen. "Or am I on mute?" Shaun sighed. "Zoom's possessed. Let's just reboot." They summoned the audience, brave and prepared, to share their tech horrors, the ones best not spared. From updates that vanished their files in the mist, to printers that jammed when deadlines persist. Then came the big question that filled them with dread. What goes on in the accessibility crypt, Stephen said. The app that promised freedom, but only gave stress, or that screen reader beta that's still quite a mess. But among all the frights and glitches and groans were treats that restored faith in tech on our phones. The tools that bring voices and braille to our hands, and gadgets that listen and truly understand. So they brewed up the episode, spooky and bright, with laughter and chaos deep into the night. And as Stephen hit record with a grin ear to ear, he said, "Happy Double Tap Halloween, the best time of the year." Signed, Mr. F.
This is Double Tap, where blind people talk tech. Here's Stephen Scott and Shaun Preece.
It's Halloween, Shaun Preece.
Terrifying, Stephen Scott. I mean, I don't know. I'm petrified. I'm speechless. I don't know if I'm cringing.
Let me turn this off. Hello.
You found that button then eventually?
I did. I found the sound effect button. You know, I've been looking for it all week. I knew it was already here somewhere. It's always in the last place you look. Every time.
Happy Halloween, sir.
Yeah, happy Halloween. Thank you to Mr. F for doing our wonderful introduction there.
God bless
wasn't
you,
he wonderful?
Mr. Frightening, Mr. Terrifying,
Yes.
Scary Mr. F. This
F.
time on purpose, but he's always terrifying.
F stands for frightening, that's right. Mm-hmm. And it's not the only frightening thing around here today. I mean, we're here, obviously.
Hello.
But we also have got great stories to share from our audience. You know, we're kind of taking a little bit of a break from the usual flow of feedback today because we asked you to send in your tech horror stories today. And I thought we'd, you know, I wondered what we'd get in terms of response, you know, with people get in touch. But they did in their droves. I believe the right word there is droves.
A horde of zombie frightening tech. Yeah, that's not going to work. Do you know what? I was... Thank you. That's a terrifying
That's
sound.
terrifying, isn't it? There, you start right there.
Fear into my heart every time you play that, as well as the Cookie Monster. I was racking my brain.
There you go.
Can you put some reverb on that or something? Make
I
it
don't think
more...
I can do it. No, I can't do that. I can only do reverb. Hello. Cookie. Whoa, ha, ha, ha. That's all I can do.
The key thing is not to overuse it, isn't it?
No, we don't
Stephen?
want to do that. No. That would be the worst thing to do. I can do this as well. Hang on.
please.
Very important announcement now from AMI. You shall now be scared.
Is that it?
That's all I've got. That's all I have.
Goodness. I was racking my brain trying to think of terrifying tech stories. I've come up with nothing, so I'm so glad that our listeners, as ever, have come to our rescue. Or at least my rescue.
Shall we start getting into the tech horror stories? Shall we
Let's
gather
do it.
round the fire?
Yeah.
There's no fire in here, by the way.
Come closer.
I think HR would have something to say about that if I brought in a fireplace.
Well, not yet.
Yeah. Give it time.
There's one terrifying tech story, yeah. I remember that, my mixer blowing up. But please.
Well, remember the time that my mixer exploded and you heard pretty much the explosion.
Yeah. I
Remember
thought
that?
you had come to serious
Sticky
injury.
end. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just a and that was it. Then total silence. That was quite scary. Yes, there's one. That's
And actually,
my contribution.
You're saying it was scary for you, but for me at the other side, all I could smell was burning, and all the lights went out. And I thought, what on earth do we do now? Apart from, obviously I thought, of all the important things to do, like, save my family from impending doom.
Yes.
Actually, what I did in reality was just sit there thinking, it'll be fine.
It'll all be all right. Yeah, I'll just get another mixing or audio interface.
And
from
there's
my,
other houses are for sale. Right, let's dive into the tech horror stories. We have plenty. Oh, it's terrifying.
Oh.
Tech horror stories.
Oh.
Brought to you by our overproduction department.
Someone's been busy.
Yeah. Oh, goodness, that's scary, that noise, isn't it?
Just let it play.
That's nice, actually.
Now gather round.
Gather round, children. Actually,
Yes.
adults, because
Yes.
I don't think kids are listening to this, probably for their own benefits. They're all running out getting candy, getting, absolutely hyped up on sugar.
That's terrifying. I actually hate that knock on the door. What, I've got to give things away for free? Ugh, no. Trick or treat. Terrible idea.
So in our
Happy
area,
Halloween, everyone.
Yeah, happy Halloween. You're so welcoming. I mean, it's funny, right? Because every house in our street gets dressed up. All the houses are dressed up. They have huge displays out of the front of the house, lighting and all this kind of stuff. Our house is the only house with absolutely nothing outside it at all. Nothing.
Well
Just
done.
Dark.
Taking part.
Blinds
It's all
are
about-
closed. Lights are off. And they still knock the door. What is going on? They still knock the door.
Ridiculous, sir. We're getting into the spirit, as you could tell.
Yeah, basically that's why we're doing this today, because it means we can hide from the impending doom of
we've done
door
our bit.
knocking. Yeah. Let's dive in, because I do have a few tech horror stories to share. We will get into ours as well, but I want to dive right into your comments, because so many of you got in touch. And we're going to kick off with an email from Gregory, which has an attachment we'll get to in a moment.
Hello, Stephen and Shaun. Coming up, a recording of how I killed my Celeste glasses. A creepy Halloween submission for Dead Not So Old Tech. Here is a true confession of how I killed my beloved Celeste glasses by using a mini USB charging cable, which, as we know, can easily cause damage. The real guilty party, or parties, are all the new smart glasses coming to a blind person near you. I am waiting for my EchoVision Pioneer version and the Solos glasses, which will be shipped in a few weeks. On a Zoom call today, the EchoVision team announced a unique charging feature. As previously known, the glasses can be charged and used at the same time using a USB-C cable with a brick or phone. Today, the announcement that you can also charge the glasses by connecting the USB-C cable to a charging case while using the glasses. Thirdly, you can charge the glasses out of the charging case by opening up the glasses and connecting the cable while they are sitting on a desk. Enjoy the recording, and as always, keep up the great work. Gregory.
Oh, thank you, Gregory. That's pretty cool with the glasses, though. You can charge them up while you're wearing them. That's cool.
Yeah, well, multiple ways as well, because that is a bit of a limitation with the Ray-Bans, right? Where you got to put them in the case. I mean, it's not terrible, don't get me wrong, but I would like more options than that. Yeah.
Well, you could buy the little cable I told you about. The little attaches to the bridge. I believe they call it the bridge of the glasses, and then you can snake the cable around the glasses along the arm.
Again, Stephen Scott, it feels like a workaround which shouldn't be needed. Really, just stick a USB-C port in the back somewhere.
Yeah, well, that's right. I mean, even the I call them Envision glasses now, but of course, originally Google Glass. That's what they have. They have the cable or the USB connection right at the very back on the arm of the glasses.
Arm? Right? Yes, well done.
Well
done.
Do you know what I think it is? I think I've said... I'm so confused by this. I've actually forgotten my original position.
Yeah, no, it was arm.
I think I said leg at the beginning. No, I didn't. I think I said leg at the beginning, and now I've actually changed it to arm.
Now you've
right?
learned something. Yes, that's correct. Yes.
Anyway, yes. Shall we hear Gregory's spooky attachment?
Oh.
Hello, Stephen and Shaun. This is Gregory. I have a creepy story about my beloved Celeste glasses. I stabbed and poked them with this crappy little mini USB port. Stabbed back and forth. And I killed them. I killed them with that crappy little USB port cable. It killed them, but...
Right.
I have another pair of Celeste glasses that can be revived. I revived. Can somebody give me Frankie Frankenstein's phone number so I can revive them.
Okay. So I was going to come off the back of that with a bit of a, ooh, ha, 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 ha. But I felt he did that justice all by himself.
Gregory. That was fantastic.
Gregory. That was very good. That was a great contribution.
I feel like we needed the Psycho sting music there.
Do we not have that? Is that not the... What have we got here? Oh, we've got that one.
Well, yeah, that's not quite... I'm sure Alfred Hitchcock would have gone with that, but... stabbed and stabbed. You know what? I've done that.
Hang on, are you critiquing Gregory's contribution?
No. I'm critiquing your lack of sound effects, to be honest with you. You should have had a Psycho...
You did all the work on that. I'm not adding in. That would be unfair.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, don't soil the original production. Absolutely. Well done, Gregory. Thank you.
Maybe the remake in 20 years' time.
I've come close to destroying a few gadgets, I'm sure, because... you're never quite sure. Is this a micro USB? Is this USB-C? Is this the square one? What was that? USB-B at some points? And then there was the mini USB as well, as used often on the Olympus dictaphones. It wasn't a micro USB. It was a mini USB. And you just, I'll put it in there. The other thing I usually do is plug like the barrel pin for power, plugging that into a headphone jack instead of the power jack. I do that quite often. Most of the time it doesn't fit, which is good, but sometimes it does. But I haven't killed anything yet, unlike
It's funny you're mentioning killing tech, because I remember that I had bought myself a MacBook Pro, this was a long time ago, from eBay. And I get it home, and it was a 15-inch, I think it was, MacBook Pro. I was so pleased to get it for the price I got it for. Because, these were, and they still are, very expensive pieces of kit. And at that point, I managed to get it for pretty much half the price it was going for in the shops. And I can't remember the reason why. Maybe it was like last year's model and I just got lucky with the price. But whatever it was, I got it home and I opened it up. And the first thing I thought was, I want to buy like a case that goes round this to secure it so that, I don't scrape the top or the lid, or, if I'm putting it in the bag. You don't care about this kind of stuff, but I do.
Oh, I'm a rebel. I live on the edge. I don't mind.
Well, I'm not a rebel. I like to absolutely not live anywhere near the edge of anything, except my mug, which lives dangerously close to the edge of my desk here. But it's in its table coaster, so everything is fine. Anyway, so I get a little, it's like a plastic case. They're very common for MacBooks. I don't know if other manufacturers for PCs do them. I suppose
it's a sleeve.
No. So this is
Okay.
like a plastic cover which clips on to the outer side of the case.
Oh, yes, those horrible looking ones. Yes, I am aware of them.
The idea being that if you dropped the MacBook on the floor, it would crack the case rather than crack your MacBook, which is the ideal scenario, right? You don't want to break your computer. So anyway, there I am. I buy one, and in typical Stephen Scott fashion, didn't like the case. Didn't like it. It made it feel cheap, and I thought I'll buy a new one.
Yeah.
So the solution was, well, first thing I'm going to have to do is get this case off the computer. So I took my little finger and I put it into the bottom corner of the monitor, so right on the screen, and I tried to just unclip. So bear in mind, obviously, the monitor is very thin on a MacBook, right? So I'm trying to unclip this case, which is now connected by little clips all the way around the monitor lid. Yeah. And I pushed my finger in, and I couldn't get it wouldn't unclip, so I pushed my nail into it, and just as I did it, the monitor flashed. Oh. And then it was like, remember back in the day when the monitor would draw itself to, it was almost like paint was dripping down the monitor?
No, never. Okay.
Well, that was a thing back then, right? And I'm usually telling you something had gone horribly wrong.
Right.
And that was, so at that point, the monitor was dead. I'd killed it completely.
Right. Question, Steve. How long are your nails?
At that time, well, not that long, but obviously the screen was thin enough that I must have pierced the screen.
Oh.
Now, I don't know if you can do that now, because it's all glass now, I think, mostly, but then it obviously wasn't.
You may have bent it as well, trying to...
Possibly, yeah. But so I took it into the Apple store, and he told me that it would cost roughly the same amount of money that I just paid for the computer to replace the screen that I had just completely
terrifying.
destroyed.
But not to cast any aspersions or anything, Stephen
No,
Scott.
please,
Did you say, I just opened this and turned it on and the screen doesn't work? It's a disgrace.
Well, do you know, I would have done that.
Would you? That's terrible.
Absolutely would have done that had I not bought it on eBay.
And it still had the case attached, obviously, because you couldn't take it off.
Well, that's the other thing, yeah. I couldn't get the case off it. And I remember thinking at the time, because those days I didn't use voiceover. And that was the point. I bought the bigger screen because I thought, this is wonderful. I can see this is so clear. The only upside was I could still hook it up to a computer, a monitor. I could still use it that way. But as a laptop on its own, unless you were using voiceover, you couldn't really get any benefit out of it. And at that time, I didn't. Nowadays, of course, I'm all in on buying broken monitor laptops. I don't care.
Yeah, exactly. If I can get it with a cracked screen or broken screen, cheaper, I'm all in. Yeah, very good.
I was telling a guy in a used computer store that once. I said, have you got any laptops with broken screens? Keep them for blind people. We'll buy them. There's a market there.
True. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Gregory.
Yeah.
And I hope you revive your other Celeste glasses.
He revive.
Okay, yeah.
You don't like that, do you?
No, I don't like that. You know what? No, I'm going to fight fire with fire. Hang on.
Oh, that's horrible. Hang on.
Does that...
Don't like that. Don't like that at all. That's dread. That's not one of those, was it 80s? 80s used to use that kind of thing in
What's
songs?
wrong with that?
I'm trying to think of the song.
Rick Astley. No?
Yeah, no, there was a...
That's like a
oh
monster
my goodness.
demolition derby.
Is it Groove is in the Heart? Delight? That's the song I'm thinking of.
All right, Mr. DJ.
I was just
Next
thinking of that
email.
one. Anyway, yeah. Okay. Moving on to Kevin and his haunted toothbrush. Hang on. Ooh, ha, 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 ha.
Stop it.
Hi, Shaun and Stephen. Well, can you imagine it? I was fast asleep when a sound came into my dream. Buzz, buzz. I woke up, and after a short while, the sound came again. Buzz, buzz. I got out of bed and stumbled around, still half asleep, and it came again. Buzz, buzz. After a while, I traced the sound to the bathroom, and standing in the middle of the bathroom, waited to hear the sound again. And there it was, from the bathroom cupboard. Buzz, buzz. And there was the culprit. My electric toothbrush had turned itself on and wouldn't turn off. Buzz, buzz. Needless to say, the offending toothbrush was recycled and a different, non-buzzing model replaced it. Love the show. Kevin.
Well, there you go. You see that? Tech
Haunted
that does
toothbrush.
that in the middle of the night. I mean, again, it's that middle of the night thing, isn't it? It's when you're lying in bed and suddenly something starts making a noise. Like we were talking about the Lady A's talking in the middle of the night, or suddenly a phone buzzes. And then you realize your phone doesn't have any notifications on it. You think, well, what did buzz?
What could that be? Yeah, there seems to be a theme of, the middle of the night talking or making noise tech. That reminds me. There is one that terrified me. Actually really did scare me for a while. Was when I had the Orbit Reader 20, the first one.
Yes.
And in the middle of the night, even though I thought I had powered off, it would suddenly go... What's that? It's like I've got a ghost brailer here going on, or a blind ghost anyway, sending notes right in the middle of the night. And then I found out it used to do that to, is that something to make sure the pins wouldn't stick or something? It was almost like a diagnostic thing it used to do. But yeah, that's terrible. Because, when you've got something new and you don't, what is that sound? Especially at 2 a.m. What is that sound? And you got to go around trying to track it down. Yeah, absolutely terrifying.
That was scary. I remember it used to do that quite a lot. I think it still does. I mean, it still does. I think it sometimes will do it when it's like fully charged, or, as you say, it will have that kind of refresh every so often just to check the pins are all working properly.
Yeah.
But yeah, the fact that it does it through the night is kind of amusing but terrifying all at the same time. And it sounds like my thinking of the Orbit devices when they do that is of Silence of the Lambs, Anthony Hopkins.
Oh, right. What?
Cannibals. Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
Hannibal Lecter.
With
With some, what was it? Flava beans or something. I don't know.
That's right.
That's lava beans. I
no
don't
idea
know.
what that is. No, I'd have baked beans. Is that an option for dinner? As long as I'm not the option, I'm
It's
happy.
funny that as soon as you know what the tech is, as soon as you identify it, it's like, it's quite relaxing. It's quite nice. Now I know what it is. It's that What's that noise? Terrifying thing.
Well, I've noticed you in particular. I noticed when you're always very reactionary anyway. But you do. I mean, you were staying with us the other night, and you're a little bit jumpy. I'm not going to lie. You were a little bit jumpy.
What did I do now? Oh, your house. Wow, your house is the noisiest house ever. Everyone that's in that house, as far as I knew, was in the room with us. And it sounds like there's someone walking around.
Or were they?
Your house creaks and it makes snapping noises. Mm-hmm. It was horrific.
So we moved into this house the very first night.
There's someone else in there. I'm telling you.
Well, I'm telling you.
Have you checked the loft?
We did wonder because on the very first night we were sitting there, we put the heating on. We didn't have any furniture on the first night, so we had 2 garden chairs sitting in front of the TV. Obviously, get the important stuff hooked up.
Yeah, they got the TV. Got nowhere to sit.
Immediately TV hooked up on day one. Got the 2 garden chairs in. Recliners as well, by the way. We're doing all right.
Posh ones. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, posh garden chairs. Wiped the grass off the bottom of them and sat them on the carpet, which was being replaced anyway, so who cares? And we sat there. We had our Chinese meal. We put the heating on. This is nice, isn't it? And the next minute, crack.
That's exactly what it's like. It's like something's hit the house.
Yeah, it's like the entire roof was about to cave in. Yeah. And so the next day, I called up the guy who sold us the house and I said, right, what is going on here? And he said, it's fine. It's just the house heating up. It will make that noise. And it has every night ever since.
I don't think, to be fair, have you looked into that? Is that a fact? Because my house doesn't make that noise, Stephen Scott.
I know there's movement that goes on with heating and so on, but it literally to the point where it is like thunderclaps in your own house.
It's unbelievable. It's like someone's jumping up and down up there.
Yeah, it does freak people out when they're in. And it means also we can get rid of people more easily when they're staying.
Well done.
Yeah, because it's like, I don't want to stay here. This house absolutely terrifies me. Excellent. Well, you know where the door is. Bye-bye.
Yeah. If it wasn't for all the tech you had lying around that I was going to fill my pockets with, I would have run away.
There's a show in there somewhere as well. Shaun nearly visited the loft, didn't you?
Oh, I did. Yes, that's right. Yes, the tech loft of wonders, by the way. How much stuff have you got in there?
I think that might give you an indication as to why the roof cracks is so much. Perhaps the weight that's sitting up there.
That's true, actually.
May have a part to play.
I brought the biggest suitcase I could bring. And by the way, I was told that my children, it feels wrong to say kids because they're late 20s.
Yeah.
But all right, my children said, "Oh yeah, it's a black suitcase because you want to know what color it is, because I'm going on the train and I need to pick it up later on, and I'll say to the assistant, yeah, it's this one, and I've tied a ribbon around the handle, whatever it may be. AirTag, by the way, perfect. I could hear it beeping. It was great.
Beeping technology, suitcase in a train station, Shaun Preece. I cannot
only
see
at my command.
I can only see the problem there
only at a
and getting worse.
Point. But I'm looking for it, by the way. I make it beep, so it's fine. But then I find out it's pink. I said to the assistant, just to double check before you take it away and put it on the luggage rack, that's a black suitcase, right? And they said, no, it's pink with fried eggs all over it.
Fried eggs?
Yeah, it's got fried egg stickers on it. Obviously, that was the, instead of a ribbon on the handle, the kids had put fried egg stickers on it so they could identify their large pink suitcase. So that was fun. But anyway, I brought that to fill up with your tech and still wasn't big enough.
Still wasn't big enough, I know.
I came back with I was on that train with armfuls and a suitcase.
But you managed. I just want to also remind you of what you said when you left the house, which is, I don't care if I have to drag this stuff along the street in a trolley. I am taking it. So,
Yep, exactly.
You were willing.
I leave nothing behind. Yeah. Besides, that's what assistants are for, isn't it?
Exactly.
I know you're here to help me travel, but could you also carry all this stuff for me and sort it out? Thank you.
It is one of the benefits of getting assistants at train stations and airports. Absolutely true.
So good.
Okay, let's move on to, where have we got? Charles up next. He has a scary story to share.
When I was a very young child, probably 6-ish, I had a talking clock, and I was too young to know what the clock was. So if you know, or if you have a guess, Go on, guess. I know that it had a chime, and then it would say something like, the time is, whatever time it was. And it also had an alarm function, and the basic alarm tone was a rooster. And it could play other things. It could play various songs, classical songs. And that alarm tone, that default rooster alarm tone, is what my parents set to use as the alarm. And it woke me up in the middle of enough dreams, and it was loud. And for some reason, we couldn't turn the volume low enough to a point where it would wake me up without startling me, but it startled me almost every morning out of my sleep. And I grew to be scared of that rooster tone. I would sometimes think I heard it when there was nothing else going on, and I would get randomly scared. I had to get rid of that clock. I do remember eventually when I was in middle school, I moved to an alarm, radio alarm, which worked a lot better. Suffice it to say, I got scared of that old rooster tone when I was a child. And I know it sounds stupid, but when you say tech horror, that's what I think of. I think of that dumb, old 90s rooster recording alarm tone that scared the crap out of me when I was a 6 or 7-year-old child.
Wow. I mean, it would be really cruel right now if, somehow we had managed to obtain that sound effect that haunts Charles to this day. It would be
childhood
really
trauma,
cruel.
if anything.
Yeah. I mean, to actually to go so far.
Deep-seated emotional fear.
To actually go so far to actually find that and then play that for Charles to terrify. We would absolutely not. Oh, come on.
Where did that come from?
Oh.
I never played it. Ooh.
That I remember from my childhood as well. That was what we used to have. I mean, that was the talking watch of the day. That was the sound of the talking watches.
Oh, every blind person right now is going, oh, no, not that
noise
again. Yes, I woke up every day at college to that terrifying, awful, scratchy. You know what terrified me the most? Not the actual sound. It was the quality of the recording.
I know.
I'm sorry. It's just awful. If you're going to do it right.
Yeah, that was the biggest issue for all of us. Maybe I will say I actually did lower the volume of that considerably because when I heard it at full volume, that was horrible to hear. But I remember on my talking watch, when you pressed the button for the time, that was the sound first. I think it was at that, or it would go bong or clang or something, and then it would tell you the time.
There was definitely a bong. I'm thinking of the talking pyramid.
Oh, I remember
that?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah,
it's what everyone had in the late 80s, I believe, early 90s. The talking pyramid. But they all had the same thing, no matter what you got, and it's always what someone else had bought for you, usually. And so, and it was always a really posh English-speaking, voice on there, and a terrible sounding rooster.
The time is 8:04.
It was you!
Just like that was me the whole time.
God, that was loud as well.
That was pretty loud, actually, wasn't it?
And can I say, Charles, as well, I find it very interesting, because, you did sound genuinely scared of that rooster.
What was he scared of?
That.
Oh, yeah.
He sounded, and I will say it again, genuinely scared of that rooster. So don't play again. But I find it interesting that your parents chose that, even though you did specifically mention you could choose other ones like classical music.
I know. I
think they did it on purpose.
I do think, well, there's partly that as well, having a bit of a laugh at your expense.
Laugh.
But also I think
they're watching you wake up.
There's still people who, genuinely believe, even parents who will think, maybe you won't hear it. So make it as loud as humanly possible so you'll at least hear it.
Isn't that the point, though? Isn't that the point of an alarm? Is there ever an alarm which you think, that's a nice way to wake up? Right? I'm thinking of those...
People do that now, don't they? They do these ones where you can get the nice relaxing music plays, and there's even ones where the light will start to come up for you. It gives you the sunrise experience.
Kids nowadays, they don't know they're born.
I had Thunderbird 2. That was me. I had Thunderbirds back in the day.
It's just because you're a nerd.
But it was, and what would happen is if you accidentally tipped, if you don't know Thunderbirds, I know it wasn't everywhere, but Thunderbirds
5,
was
4,
3, 4, etc. It was a great show. It was all puppets, wasn't it? It was all puppets.
Yes.
And anyway, if you ever get a chance to check it out, it was so good. I mean, totally cheesy, but it was brilliant. And, basically International Rescue had to save the world, and these were the guys who did it. And they had 5 different types of Thunderbird vehicle. And Thunderbird 2 was like the big one. It carried all the kind of other stuff. It was like the military one, It would take all the other stuff.
Don't go on. Wow.
Anyway, I had
Uber
Thunderbird 2,
here.
right? And Thunderbird 2 had this thing where I had Tracy Island as well. I had the whole thing when I was growing up. But yeah, so Thunderbird 2 sat there on its little ramp to, go off. And what would happen is if you accidentally tipped Thunderbird 2, if you leant over in the middle of the night and tipped Thunderbird 2 off its ramp, it would make the sound of it taking off. So in the middle of the night, you would get like a 747 taking off in your bedroom. And it was
you were
brilliant.
up anyway, tipping it over. How did it wake you up, though? What was the alarm? Was it that noise?
The alarm was, if I remember, it was the sound, it was the theme tune of the show mixed with the Thunderbird 2 taking off.
Yeah, but was it nice and gentle? Or
no, it was like a 747 going off in your house.
But there you go. That's the purpose of an alarm. That's what I'm saying. All this gently tapping your wrists now that the smartwatches do to wake. I'm against it. I think, it should be a bucket of water over your face. That's what I think an alarm should be. Do you remember those radio clock alarms? And their alarm used to be constantly. Yeah. And it was traumatizing, actually.
Wow.
I think there's a lawsuit coming
Sean's, towards you. I think, Sean's view is that we should go back to times when everything was terrible.
Yeah,
when alarm clocks essentially kicked you in the face to wake you up in the morning. Brilliant times, great times. Let's go back to that.
I want that one that you got to chase around. I always fancied that one.
What was it?
They used to
the
go
ball?
off.
Was it the ball?
It was like
run off in the...
Yeah. It was either a ball or it was like a cylinder and like a Pringles tube, and it just roll away from you, making terrible noises.
There was one. You could pick up and you could throw it at the wall. That was how you silenced it or how you snoozed it. It was like a ball, and you would pick it up and you'd throw it at the wall.
Yeah, but you would just throw it at the wall all the time. But then you'd have to get out of bed to find it after the 5-minute snooze.
Exactly. See?
Clever.
See? That's the kind of torture you want. Right, look, we'll get into more of your stories, plenty more of them to come. This is Double Tap. Double Tap thanks Turtleback Cases for supporting this podcast and for their decades-long commitment to the blind and low vision community. Since 2003, Turtleback has been the original name behind protective leather cases for note-takers, trusted by thousands and designed with real feedback from real users. Made in the USA, their cases are rugged, ergonomic, and built to last. They offer custom-fitted protection for devices like the Victor Reader Stream 3, Blind Shell Classic 3, Mantis Q40, Sense Player, Orbit Reader 20, Focus 40, Braille eMotion, and more. Use promo code DT12 for 12% off your entire order. And yes, they ship worldwide via FedEx, complete with tracking. Visit turtlebacklv.com to see the full lineup.
Get in touch with Double Tap. Email feedback at doubletaponair.com. Leave us a voicemail at 1-877-803-4567. And now you can send an audio or video message to us on WhatsApp. That number is 1-613-481-0144.
Okay, let's get back to your tech horror stories then. Come on, let's get more of those on.
Tech horror stories.
They put so much work into it, I thought we should play it again.
I know, you got to play at least once.
Yeah, exactly, that's right.
Yeah, keep going.
Here's Gail.
Hello, my friend purchased a laptop with Guide running many years ago. She had problems with Skype, making calls, and also her husband being able to see his family. She was blind, he was sighted. She called Dolphin and set up a call to ring her back that morning. She started to get dressed and her husband called her to say Dolphin was on the phone. She hurried in the lounge where the laptop was running and she explained they could not see what was on the screen using Skype. Dolphin said it was working and they could see her. She was in her underwear, totally embarrassed, and her husband quickly threw her dressing gown on her. Enough said. From Gail.
I'm sorry to laugh, Gail, but I mean, how many times must that happen? I mean, look, remember the pandemic, remember lockdown.
I was just going to go there, yeah.
Zoom bombing was quite a thing in those days. People appearing in shots, not realising they were on video calls.
It's something you do. You forget that you're on a video call. You do that, and it can be... I did it just the other day. I tried out the new Be My Eyes service directory partner of EE here in the UK from my mobile provider. And I totally forgot, as soon as you make that call, the camera's on. Of course it is. That's the whole point of it being there.
Yeah.
And then they said, just to let you know, I can see, your camera. And then you're thinking, oh my God, for the last 5 minutes, what have I been doing?
Well, they're not seeing you, right? They're seeing
through the rear camera. Yeah. Which could be even worse, depending on where your phone is.
Well, I did actually hear a story of someone who had told me about a call on one of these kind of services, let's just say. And the situation was they were staring at a mirror, deciding which shirt to wear. And they were wanting to check which shirt. So the person was standing with two shirts in their hand, phone in the other, pointing at the mirror, forgetting that the person holding the shirt had forgotten that they hadn't got dressed. Like at all.
What? You mean at all?
Like, I am a newly born person.
Okay.
And naked as the day they were born and standing holding two shirts at the camera saying, which shirt's best? The person on the other end had to let the person know very gently they were wearing no clothes, at which point the call was very hastily, well, in the blind sense of hastily cut off, which basically
the phone was just thrown
randomly, lots of noise, lots of voice, and then hopefully there's an end button somewhere, and please double tap quick.
Have you ever done that, not in your birthday suit, obviously, but have you ever struggled to get out of a call? It's not so much terrifying as embarrassing. It's like you're trying to find that end call button and especially if you can't get it to work. It is absolutely terrible. You're trying to do it quietly, like, okay, I have left, just in case, let's pretend that I've gone all quiet. But, your screen reader's shouting in your ear, it's absolutely terrible.
I think these days it's worse for voice messages you're leaving. Because that thing of, okay, hi, Shaun, I'll be around about 5 minutes. Okay, I'll talk to you then. And then it's just a succession of swipes and voiceover reading, and then it's,
And then you going, which one is it?
Come on, it's here somewhere. Right, okay, that's it. I'm away now, but right, that's it. Hang on, where is it? Oh, I've lost it now. I've lost focus again. Oh, come on. 4 fingers, bottom of screen. Come on. And the thing is, on WhatsApp now, it just takes you straight to the cancel button, and then you swipe left to go to send. But unless they've moved the buttons around, I always thought the last item on the screen was the send button.
Oh, well, you're lazy, Stephen Scott. Keep your finger pressed on the screen.
No, I'm not doing that anymore.
Don't
double
lock
tap
it.
on
What's the
the
matter?
double tap on the voice button, and that's it. It'll just keep recording. It should stay on the send message button, but doesn't always.
I have noticed as well recently. I don't know if this is the latest update or something that I'm doing, but I'm cancelling so many voice recordings now. Halfway through, I'll just say cancelled. Like really? I've accidentally moved my finger a little bit to the left, because as you're recording a voice message in WhatsApp, if you swipe to the left, it will cancel it. But
yes, If you're holding
it's become overly sensitive. If you swipe up, it will lock it. If you swipe to the left, it will cancel it. That's only if you're holding down. If you double tap and hold to record your message. Not the lazy Stephen Scott way of doing it, of just double tapping on the voice message.
I've your weak hands. I'm sorry.
Oh, wow. Threw me under the bus there. Unbelievable.
Yeah. I think that's called ableist, my friend. Just saying.
No.
Expect a lawsuit in the post once I figure out how to make that happen. Right, okay, let's go to Camille.
Once upon a time, I accidentally changed the NVDA language to Swedish. Of course, being French-Canadian, I definitely do not speak Swedish. And on top of that, I did not know how to have NVDA switch language. Fortunately, I have some vision, and therefore I used the magnification function and could see what NVDA was telling me. Using Google, I figured that the language was Swedish and managed to figure out how to switch it back to English. What a friggin' nightmare that was. Lol. Once back to English, I wrote down the instructions on how to have NVDA switch language. Happy Halloween from Camille.
Thank you, Camille. Can I just tell you that I did exactly the same thing? You might remember this, Shaun, with my Chromebook that I bought.
Oh, yes. Was it German you said it to?
Actually, no, again, I got this on eBay, and I think it was in German when I got it, and I couldn't work out how to get
Likely
it.
story.
Yeah, no, it was. And when I opened it up...
error, sir.
Absolutely not. I opened it up, and there it was, babbling away in a foreign language, which I determined was German. I don't know what it was. It's something like Achtung or something. I was like, that sounds German. I've seen Sound of Music. So,
well done.
That's basically
a man of the world.
Only reference point there. Bearing in mind, I have a lot of German family, and never do I speak the word of German.
Okay.
Thankfully, they speak English, so it's all good.
Did they send you that Chromebook by any chance?
Maybe. You never know. Maybe I got it from them. But either way, I managed to get it back to English, and I was a hero that day.
And how did you do that? Did you use any of the translation tools, such as Google Lens or anything like that?
I just kept going round. I kept hearing the same button over and over again that sounded something like English or something like German. And so, I just kept tabbing around until I thought... You just,
like a cat dabbing the screen.
Yeah, like an elephant with a paintbrush. Exactly
just pressing
the same.
Anything, yeah.
If a result comes out of this that's somewhat good... It's a success, and that was. I got
a laptop from Amazon. Bought a laptop from. Oh, I never. Obviously, a friend of mine.
Obviously,
yeah. Obviously. I told him which one to buy. He bought it, and then when he got it, it was in. I think it was Dutch. In the out of the box.
European laptops all of a sudden.
I know, but I was saying, look, it's not a problem. Obviously, I said, obviously, you've selected the wrong language.
Oh.
Friendly as ever,
Judgy.
obviously passive-aggressive. Mm-hmm. You've selected the wrong language. We'll just find the back button. But English wasn't an option in the list. Wasn't there. And I never knew that. Apparently, there's some versions of Windows where, it isn't a full list. It's a specific list of languages available.
Wow.
So, yeah, it was brand new out of the box from an online store. Sorry. Yeah, it does happen.
Probably
I had to send it back.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, look, we're hearing your tech horror stories today. This is fantastic. The stories you've sent through are wonderful. Let's hear from Brandon.
I don't know that I really have anything that's spectacular. I don't know. I don't... Things frustrate me in the moment, and I just kind of move on from them. You know what I mean? But the one thing I do remember is when I was a kid, I had a 286 PC that was running DOS, and I had a hardware Keynote Gold synthesizer, and there was software, and I forget what the software was called that it ran, the screen reader software. And it had a battery, which I don't know why it had a battery, because it was attached to a desktop that had to be plugged in anyway. But the thing that this synthesizer would do is if the battery happened to go low, regardless of if it was powered on or not, it would tell you. It would say, recharge battery. And it would do that sometimes at like 2 a.m. And I'm like, 10-year-old kid at this point in time and, in bed, and to be woken up by recharge battery. And the thing is turned off. But I have a second one though. My cousin had one of those Teddy Ruxpin things. It could talk, or it could play cassettes and talk and do the moving the mouth thing, right?
Mm.
And so I forget what we were doing, but I had it, and I had the batteries out, and somehow I triggered it, and it talked. And I was freaking out. And I may have been like 10 or 11 at this time. And I freaked out. How the is this thing talking? There's no batteries in it. And later on, I was told that it had 2 compartments, one specifically for the mechanism and the brain, I guess, and the second one designed specifically to run the cassette part. And I did not know that. So me thinking batteries out, why is this thing still talking? That kind of had me freaked out a little bit.
Yeah, no wonder.
You know what? Funnily enough, I'm sure I've heard that before. I don't think you're unique in that, taking the batteries out and it's still talking away to you.
Yeah.
that kind of freaks me out anyway, that whole, what was it called? Teddy Ruxpin?
Yeah.
That whole, the moving mouth and man, that's kind of freaky anyway, isn't it?
It is.
Scary.
Yeah. That's just going to get worse and worse with AI. They're all going to do that. All the teddy bears will be talking and listening and watching. It's going to be terrifying.
I didn't have a terrifying text.
Calm down. Hang on. Getting ahead of yourself there. Hang on.
Hey.
Not there yet. Someone's jumping ahead. Let's go to Joshua.
I turned on my computer one day and it must have updated during the night because it wasn't talking. I got sighted help and the BitLocker thing was on the screen asking for a recovery key to unlock the drive. I had to reinstall Windows and when I tried to turn on narrator, I got nothing. So I had to have sighted help for the installation and most of the setup it goes through. I was finally able to turn on narrator when Windows was done checking for updates and I had to re-download all my stuff. From Joshua.
Well, we've all been there, I think.
Absolutely terrifying. I mean, from a everyday computing kind of point of view, yeah, absolutely. I've had that, I think, once or twice as well, and it's just and then, it's when you get to that sort of low level, BitLocker and Windows has corrupted, and you got to go back to either a recovery disk or some sort of low level way to recover. That you think, accessibility isn't everywhere at all. It's on the shiny front-facing bit, but as soon as you try and go to the BIOS or go back to the sort of DOS boot or something like that, then it's not accessible at all. Good luck with that.
It's terrifying.
Ah, dear. I remember talking of terrifying Windows. I remember Windows 8.
Oh, yeah.
Anyone else?
That's we could just probably put that right in. Actually, this takes us very nicely to our next feature, which is the accessibility crypt. Shall we open up the coffin of doom and see what's in there? Coffin of doom. Let's walk up to it. Come on, let's walk up, see what's in there. There's a skeleton in there.
The accessibility crypt.
That was a little bit of audio description there for our YouTube audience.
All I can say is, thank God you don't do AD for anything at all, Stephen Scott.
That'd be great at that, wouldn't it? Was that not good enough? Did that have the appropriate emotion?
Yeah, a bit of a spoiler there. You preempted it a little bit.
I'm sorry. Did I get the timing wrong?
Yes, you did. If you're going to do it, Stephen Scott, do it right. Thank you. Well done.
Yeah, let you do it next time. See how you get on. I'm not even tell you what's in it first. You can figure it out for yourself. Right, let's go to Peter, who's got one suggestion for the accessibility crypt. I think definitely Windows 8 could go in there for sure. But let's see what Peter's got to say.
Hi, Stephen and Shaun. Here is some dead tech for your tech crypt. My wife has still got her red BlackBerry phone. My wife is low vision, but she loved the shape of the phone and also the keyboard, which she found of great use,
me
being
too.
a touch typist. And she also liked the BBM messaging service as well. And for my part, I used to use an app in the early noughties called Georgie, Georgie, when I had a Samsung Galaxy 6. And I used to be able to send texts, etc., similar to the way I'm doing this voice message now. Happy Halloween and keep looking after those ghosts.
Yeah, Georgie, I remember that. That rings a bell.
Do you? I don't.
Mm-hmm. I remember. I don't think I ever used it because Georgie girl. Yeah, no, I didn't use it because, of course, it was an Android. I mean, for obvious
even back then,
reasons.
Stephen Scott,
you
were biased. Yes, I see.
Absolutely. I've been biased my whole life.
I missed the whole BlackBerry thing.
I didn't like BlackBerry.
I never used one. I missed it. I went.
I see. Right.
I went to I was just always on the Nokias, right? Nokia with Talks or Mobile Speak, running the Symbian OS. I just never used a BlackBerry.
But you were always looking for a talking solution, weren't you? You were needing Talks.
Yes.
See, I didn't need Talks or speech at that time. So I could ramp up. I think it was 56 point was the highest font size you could get on the BlackBerry at the time. It didn't have a screen reader. 56 point, yeah.
How big was the screen? 35 inch?
Yeah. It was. I mean, do you know? It was. I know it was. And saying that though, I don't know if it was 56 point.
Yeah, it's all relative, I suppose, to the size of the screen. Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, it was the highest I could get. there was a period where they did invent a screen reader for it, the BlackBerry screen reader. I remember that came out, but it never ever took off at all. And of course, then BlackBerry had bigger problems when Apple came along. But there was a lot of us nervous about that because we thought, especially when we talk, of course, about our nervousness about the iPhone being inaccessible when it came along. But there was then that concern of, well, if all these other companies that might be developing solutions for us go away, what are we left with? And,
what are we left with? Yeah. Exactly.
Thankfully, we got a good result out of that one with Apple. That could have easily gone the other way, though. Easily gone the other way.
It is an interesting discussion to have, really. If Apple hadn't done the work that they did when it comes to voiceover and making that touchscreen accessible, if Apple would never have done that, where would we have been today? Would someone else have? Would Google have picked up and done the work they've done with TalkBack for touchscreen devices? Or would it just be, well, of course blind people can't use that. You'll have to, get your own devices, blind-specific devices.
I think we would have got there, but I think it would have been through a heck of a lot of advocacy, and I think the result may have been more specialist than mainstream.
I think so.
I think we'd have had a blind iPhone or a blind phone.
Well, the Blind Shell Classic would have been our only option.
Probably,
or something like that. Yeah, Smart Vision, all the others.
Thank you for that, Peter. Appreciate that. Those two can absolutely go into the accessibility crypt. We're going to build a list here, and we'll keep this going through the year because this is actually a great list to develop of apps and hardware that, a dead tech, that may still haunt us in a good way or a bad way.
When you're feeling nostalgic.
Yeah, I like a bit of nostalgia.
Okay.
I'm getting old now.
You can't remember the name, yeah.
Yes, that's right. Okay, let's go to Ryan.
Hello, Stephen and Shaun and fellow double tappers. This is Ryan from the AT Banter podcast.
Competition.
Just contributing a piece of old tech that I still have and still works to the crypt for Halloween. I'm going to turn the device on now, and this voice should be familiar to many of you.
Relives 2020 Ryan 1 page braille file.
Wow.
Option. Check appointments. Calculator. Date. Open date book file. Date book entry. File comments. Smart calendar. Abort. A-E-L-L-O space S-T-E-A-E-N
Got a message here.
Hello, Stefan and Shaun.
So that is, as you heard, the Braille and Speak 2000 still functioning, just like the day I got it back in 1997, I believe. Thanks for the show.
Oh, wow. Thank you, Ryan. I mean, that's amazing.
Impressive.
It's amazing that it's still working as well as it is.
Well, you say as well, Stefan, but I'm not entirely sure it did
I didn't
work.
say it was great. I'm just saying, it's still functioning. Let's put it that way.
Well, anytime I can say, come back eloquence, all is forgiven, then that's not great, right? That wasn't eloquence, was it? Was that not e-speak? I have no idea what that was, but my point is eloquence is better than that, and I hate eloquence, by the way. I know, and no one else does, but I do. That was the sound of every computer in the 80s.
Yeah.
That any computer in a movie had that voice, right? That was just it. It was one thing, and that was your lot. But hey, it was good at the time. It was so impressive at the time.
Oh, it was. I remember friends of mine who had them at school back, when I was at high school, and that was the sound. That was the sound of, I mean, and Perkins Braillers. Boom, 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 boom in the background. Someone should have a dance track with all these sound effects. There's for all you people that like making your music on all these different AI platforms. Make one of those because, that would be an interesting sound. Listen, we got one more to play, and this is from Jane, who wants to. It doesn't necessarily have something of a horror story, but actually quite the opposite of a horror story. A lovely way, actually, to end the show. Here's Jane.
Oh.
I don't have a terrifying tech story, but I have a nice one for the end. When I got my very first iBook G4 in 2005, it started acting up. The keyboard was acting weird, skipping letters and everything. We were in Georgia at a convention then, and our friend took us to the Apple Store. That was the first time I had ever had a positive experience dealing with anyone involving my own tech. That man was so patient. He kept voiceover on so I could hear what he was doing, even though I offered to turn it off. He explained the mysteries of an archive and reinstall, helped me find a new case to carry the computer in. I left the place nearly in tears because I hadn't felt so valued and validated before. I mattered, not my husband. He got told to keep an eye on the baby who was running around from computer to computer playing kids' games, while the genius barman dealt with me. He even did a keyboard replacement that very day so I could take the computer away with me. Otherwise, I would have had to send it off and have it shipped back to where I was living at the time. From Jane.
Wow. Thank you, Jane. What a lovely story to end on. And, just an example of, and I have to say, not the only story I've heard like this, where, people who are blind go into these stores and, really feel welcomed. Now, of course, there are examples where it doesn't quite go the same way. Maybe the member of staff who really knows their onions when it comes to accessibility isn't in that day, but when you do get the right person, when you do get someone who can spend the time with you, and it makes you feel, considering the world outside we always talk about, where we kind of almost are dehumanized, to feel like a human, to feel welcome, to feel, focused on is a lovely thing. What a great story.
Like, you exist is one thing. Yeah, very good. And I would say it's not just, an apple, well done apple, by the way, and it's particularly that person, but it's just that staff member, right? That customer support agent. You get good ones, you get bad ones. But when you get a good one, that is the impact it can have. Absolutely amazing. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you for all your contributions. This has been great. It's been a lot of fun doing this. A little bit of a Halloween special for you today. Hope you enjoyed it. We've had a lot of fun doing this. It's been fun and terrifying. Yeah.
Someone had a little too much fun, I think. With that, I'm going to take that mixer away from you after this.
I think Mr. F has had 2 bottles of fun today. So he's definitely not listening by now. That is it for us. We'll catch you again on the next one. Thanks, Shaun.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
No, that doesn't work.